hello, hello, my lovelies. It is me, your good friend Countess, back again. I thought I would hop on camera just for a minute to sort of introduce this video and discuss a couple of things. First off, I just wanted to say if you hear background noise in this video, I apologize. It has been bloody hot here where I live. Like yesterday we reached temperatures of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So I ain't playing. My AC unit in this room is separate from the house, so it's very loud. So I have to have a fan on, at least something blowing air in my direction, because it takes a minute, but it gets sweltering here, so in a room. So apologies for that. So in this video, I just want to take a quick look at McCartney's video for this one. I had attached it to that reading, the second reading I did on Billy's Eye, and if you guys want to watch the video, and then you'll kind of understand the symbolism that I'm discussing in this video, because just listening to the song and taking into consideration all of the stuff that they tell us in memoirs, there is a lot more symbolism going on in this song and video. And I have a short clip here that I'm going to show you of the behind the scenes with McCartney talking about the song, and he's kind of daft about it, especially when you get the memoirs version of why he wrote the song. And he didn't include this song in the lyrics book, which I find really weird. I know he didn't include quite a few songs, especially Spin It On. That's like one of my favorite McCartney songs, because it's like a hardcore rockabilly jam, and I love it. But he didn't put like quite a few songs in his videos. Anyways, I went looking for this one, obviously, and didn't find it. So I find that kind of interesting. So we're going to look at this clip from McCartney, and then we are going to look quickly at the symbolism of the swan, the white swan and the black swan, because in relation to what Billy tells us in that footnote on page 38, also the numerology there, 3 + 8 is 11. 11 is duality. So you have the white and you have the black. So that ties into it too. So I just wanted to kind of dig a little bit deeper, just because, I found it kind of interesting when I was doing those readings and watching the video and then reading the footnote again. And yeah, I've gone over the footnote before in one of my other videos, but this time we're going to go over it with a different sort of view to it all. So kick back, relax. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to all of the new subscribers. Thank you for giving me a chance. I know this topic and my channel is sort of niche, it's a very specific topic, but I like to also discuss broader topics that connect to this McCartney replacement conspiracy, because it's all connected, as memoirs tells us, and it's all being controlled by the controllers, right? So it's just kind of neat to look into how they use their symbolism and how they use esoteric language to tell us the truth, but nobody pays attention. Nobody really puts 2 and 2 together, and they just accept it at face value. Well, I believe that all of you who are watching my videos do not do that. Do not accept that, and like digging a little bit deeper, because it is interesting and a little infuriating. I'm not gonna lie, it's like all of the lies, they say that they tell us in such a way that we unknowingly acknowledge that what they're doing is okay. So that gives them license to do what they're going to do to us, you know, and no, it's bullshit. So let's take a look. Kind of went off on a tangent there. Let's take a look at what Mr. McCartney has to say about this song, because this one is a wordplay for the swan. This one, the swan. So when you're listening to the song, kind of puts it into a different perspective. So very interesting. Again, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. Kick back and relax. Let's see what Mr. McCartney has to say, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye, guys. God is riding on his back.
Paul, can you tell us the story behind the song and the video set behind it?
Yeah, well, roughly I can. What happened is I was writing this song called This One, and basically the song says, you know, did I ever tell you I loved you? If I didn't, then I was waiting for a better moment that never came. There never could be a better moment than this one. And then when I got to the bit in the song where it said this one, I started doing like a word play. And so started doing the swan is gliding instead of this one. It's all very silly, really. The swan is gliding above the ocean, a god is riding on his back. And it reminded me of a kind of Indian picture, which is this one, which is the cover of the single. And there's the swan, there's the Indian god riding on the back, calm water, the rainbow. And it just reminded me of things I'd seen in India, you know, when I visited there.
You were fairly into the Indian religion and culture back in the 60s?
Well, it wasn't so much the religion and the culture, it was more the kind of images and the music and meditation. We were into meditation at the time too. But mainly it was the music.
So was it your idea for the video?
Well, I showed Tim Polk, the director of the video, I showed him this image. And I said, well, this is kind of the image for the song that comes to my mind.
Right.
And he said, well, it's very nice, very Indian. He said, why don't we do a kind of real Indian type thing? So hence all this
all the gear?
Very Indian gear, yeah.
Right. So would you work out the plan of action then between yourselves?
Yeah, but it's mainly him, you know, and that's what you get a director for, you know. It's like you and your producer. He basically tells you what to do, you know.
Right.
And so if you ask me for any ideas and stuff, I'll come up with them, you know. But basically, I like to get his idea because it's his film, really.
Okay, so the swan is gliding above the ocean. A god is riding upon its back. How calm the water, how bright the rainbow. Fade this swan to black. Fade the swan to black. The swan. The swan is a highly esoteric symbol. And it's just very interesting in relevance to the memoirs in the footnote on page 38. We're going to go over this footnote first, and then we'll get to the swan and its symbolism. But first, we need to go through the footnote and kind of understand where Billy's coming from for this song. So I'm going to read just the top part and then the footnote. So it starts, for this role of Paul to work fully, I needed a spiritual connection to Paul, and actually got it over and beyond what I had expected, which is far more than what John and George anticipated. Realizing how they were elevating the spiritual and mystical significance of Paul, and observing how freely they welcomed that elevation of their dead bandmate, I understood early on how all of that ultimately elevated my position. The thing that impressed them the most about Paul as a spiritual sentient presence was that he foretold his death and substitution, and then worked with me, the strange substitute, channeling music and talent to me, to them both. That made Paul some kind of god. A god that's gliding on the swan's back or riding upon its back. Okay, so the footnote then goes on. William felt less like an imposter after a couple of months when he sensed Paul's more permanent presence. However, based on beliefs and rituals, those who saw Paul as an avatar for Vishnu expected William to feel the indwelling not only of Paul, but also of Enki, Osiris, Krishna, Jesus, to give a few names for he whom they consider one God. If Vishnu or Osiris had embodied Paul, and if Paul then embodied William, Billy Shears would become much more than the living Paul, transformed by Shiva to be far beyond a mere idol. The new Paul would be God incarnate. When William felt the indwelling of Paul, but not Krishna Christ, he was troubled. Confidence reassured him that eventually he and Krishna would each enter the heart, mind, and flesh of the other. Having still not felt it by 1988, he wrote this one. In the video, we see him with closed eyes praying to Krishna. He says, "Did I ever open up my heart, let you look inside? If I never did, I was only waiting for a better moment. That didn't come. There never could be a better moment than this one." William considered the comforts and privileges that he enjoys and contrasted them with Vishnu's less pleasant incarnations. He believed that if he were his avatar, their union would be mutually beneficial. If Vishnu joined him now, it could all be Vishnu's most pleasant of all. He sings, "What kind of magic might have worked if we had stayed calm? Couldn't I have given you a better life?" Yes. Okay, so Billy is talking, Tom is talking about Billy transforming into this avatar of Vishnu, Krishna, Enki, and Jesus, and all that jazz. And so going back to the symbolism of this video, they looked at Paul, well, George and John, as a god. And the god in the video or the song is riding on the back of a swan. And then at the very end, he says, "Fade this swan to black." And that, my friends, is what got me. Because the black swan symbolism goes pretty deep. And I made this connection just because I knew about the alchemical process with the black swan and what it is. And so I just want to go over that really quick with you guys, and you can kind of see where I'm coming from when I saw this video. So we'll start off first with, the word swan came from the Dutch and Indo-European roots of language. The word is swin, and it means to sound or to sing. I will put all of the links to my resources in the description. By the way, I'm just referencing a few different websites that I went over. So we have with the black swan symbolism, with the white swan symbolism in literature and myth, The swan is representing light, purity, transformation, intuition, and grace. So the black swan, fade this swan to black. The black swan, firstly seen as a symbol of transformation and spirituality. It can change its color. It's born white, but it transforms its color into black. Next, the black swan symbolism in tarot. So the black swan appears in the major arcana card, the Tower, which the Tower is all about destruction, chaos, and major life events. And it represents, we must start again from scratch after everything falls apart. It can be seen as the devil or the death card as well in the tarot. It's all about solve et coagula right there. So going to the third point, the black swan in astrology. So the black swan is actually associated with the planet Saturn. Fancy that. Saturn is the planet of death, rebirth, limitation, and restriction. It's the planet of karma, and it's associated with the astrological sign Scorpio, aka Justin Falzon. I see you. And the Scorpio represents, that's the astrological sign of death, sex, and secrets. I also live with 2 Scorpios, so let me tell you, I know all about that energy. Okay, so then going on to the fourth point, that the black swan symbolism in alchemy. So this is the most important part of it, I think. The black swan actually represents the materia prima, and that is the first matter from which all things are created. So the color black actually represents the process of negredo, which is the purification and decomposition stage, the solve part, dissolving all of the bad parts first so you can grow and transform into something better. It is the black of blacks, and black results when, no, damn it. And they complete the first stage of the magnum opus, the great work. Wowzer. So this totally goes into the transmigration of Paul's soul into Mr. William, doesn't it? It is pretty deep, and this is just very interesting. So kind of going in with the alchemical vibe still, the black swan is also a symbol of the shadow self. So, the shadow self is our dark and dangerous side that we try to keep hidden from others. And, excuse me, the shadow self, we have heard time and time again with like the Luciferian doctrine, you have to confront your shadow self in order to be a full functioning person. You have to embrace both the good and the bad. It's the duality. You could even say Paul was the good, Billy was the bad. They mesh just like a yin yang to make a full circle with them both in it. And I find it very interesting how he's this picture of him holding a swan in a glass, circular container that's see-through. It's like the swan is incubating in the materia prima, excuse me. very, very interesting. So, the swan has symbolism in Hinduism as well. You know, it can be the representation of the goddess Kali, which I find very funny because, Kali is the goddess that they were trying to sacrifice Ringo to in the movie Help. So, which is kind of funny connection there. Um, so also in the Hinduism, the swan can represent the goddess Saraswati. And Saraswati is often depicted as a beautiful woman dressed in pure white, and she's often seated on a white lotus, which symbolizes light, knowledge, and truth. And she also, her iconography is typically in white themes from dress to flowers to swan, the color of sattva guna or purity, discrimination for true knowledge, insight, and wisdom. A hasma, either a swan or a goose, is often shown near her feet. In Hindu mythology, the hamsa is a sacred bird, which, if offered a mixture of milk and water, is said to be able to drink the milk alone. That it thus symbolizes the ability to discriminate between good and evil, essence from the outer show, and the eternal from the evanescent. Due to her association with the swan, Saraswati is also referred to as the Hamsavavina, which means she who has a Hamsa, spiritual perfection, transcendence, and moksha. Yes, so there you go, guys. It is a symbol of transformation. It is the materia prima of the magnum opus. You know, the symbolism in this video is just off the chain. And then you look at all of the eye symbolism. He sings, "Did I ever look you in the eye? Did you ever look me in the eye?" The eye, not the eyes. Again, not, saying the truth, but being tricky about it, right? And so we can deduce basically that, this God that he's talking about in the picture of the album, the God writing on the back of the swan, could represent the avatar of Paul, because it is an avatar god of Krishna, Kali, or, even Saraswati. So the god embodies the avatar, gliding on the swan's back and fade the swan to black. So he's saying, let's mesh these two together so we can start again and transform into something new. Bam! It correlates with the footnote that Billy wrote about him trying to connect with Paul, trying to bring him and Paul together in a circle to make a whole being, right? Solve et coagula, all the fucking time. But that was just my observation, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I thought it was worth looking at. Let me know what you think, your thoughts. Just find it very interesting, and I thought you guys would too. So until the next video, yes, I am sorry, I'm going to go off on a tangent here. I know I said like months and months ago that I was going to pull back from the memoirs, and I did. It's been about 5 months or so since I have really looked at it. I got the new update, and scanned through it and read the whisper messages and all that, but focusing on it for a video, I don't mind doing that. It's the tarot readings, even the tarot readings that I did on his eye, just very heavy energy, guys, very dark energy, no matter if they're the truth or not. The energy in those cards was just very dark and very heavy. And I feel that shit. And it takes a minute. So I'm glad to kind of go back into the memoirs and to kind of looking at Billy a little bit more. And hopefully we can do a little bit more research on symbolism that is connected to his music and even his videos. So it's something that the uninitiated don't see, and it's something that we can now see based off of what he says in the memoirs and to what the symbolism of the swan and all of the eye symbolism in the video, them closing their eyes and having big eyes painted on their eyelids, that shit's freaky as hell. I get creeped out with that stuff. But it's symbolizing, eyes wide shut, basically. Like, we're telling you the truth, but you're not looking with your eyes, it's the third eye, kind of. It's just very interesting that there's so much eye symbolism in this video. And I think that's where sort of, too, the connection came with the theory of possibly the song is tied into him losing his eye. Who knows, though? We'll see. Hopefully one day we'll know the truth, but I kind of doubt it. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. I will check you later. I love you all, and you have a wonderful day. Stay blessed. Bye. Hey, guys, I just wanted to say real quick, if you're looking for some new fun music, check out my good friend Dave Kornblum's new album, Turbulent Times. Dave is a very, very talented musician, and he made a beautiful album full of funky and fresh music, and he was gracious enough to invite me on and made a song to my AI poem that I got about Paul McCartney. So please take a listen, and I hope you guys enjoy because it's very fun. Anyways, give him a subscribe and a like or whatever, and I will check you guys later.